Hello and welcome to Aimtv. My name is Corinne Fairbanks, and tonight we have a very special guest, Mr. Luther Richmond, who is working at UCSB regarding the American Indian Scholars Program. Luther, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Thanks, Corinne. It's good to be here. Well, I was born and raised in Santa Barbara. My family's been here for quite a few generations, and my background, I have Choctaw roots, a mix of different cultures, African American, Mexican by way of Portugal, but I really want to find out more about my Choctaw roots, and something that's been hard to kind of find out with slavery and the lack of records. But yeah, that's my background. I attended Harding and Cleveland Elementaries here before Santa Barbara Junior High and then Santa Barbara High School. After Santa Barbara High School, I then went on to UC Santa Barbara, where I began working with the back then it was called the Shumash Scholars Program, as a tutor, mentor, and that's where I met many in the community, and that's where I fell in love with mentoring and counseling. So after 2 years in that position, I went on to graduate school at San Jose State University and got a master's in counseling. And during that whole time at UCSB and also in grad school, I worked with the San Ynez tribe with Camp Kalawashak, their summer camp for students 1st through 8th grade, and met more people in the community and established relationships with the students. And that experience really kind of shaped my vision of what I wanted to do professionally. Excuse me. Professionally, and it was a spiritual experience also. So that really, I really attribute where I am today to those experiences.
Okay. And so how long have you been working with the American Indian Scholars Program?
Well, in my position, I started out originally, like I said, as a tutor back in 2006, but now I'm the program coordinator, and I started in June 2010. So I'm coming up on 2 years as I guess you could say director. So yeah, it's gone by quick.
Wow, great. Can you tell us about the American Indian Scholars Program?
Sure. Well, it has several components I can outline. Basically, our goal is to increase the number of American Indian students that enroll and are eligible for higher education, mainly a 4-year college or university. And we have several components, like I said. So the first one is academic preparation, going over things, for example, with a high school student, the A through G requirements, which are a set of courses that are required to be eligible for UC in California. A junior high student might be going over things like note-taking skills or test-taking skills, or just establishing good homework habits, because we really want to show our students and the parents that what the students are doing early on directly affects their success later on in their educational path. The second component is mentorship, and I think that's the really unique component to the program. I have a staff of 6 undergraduate student mentors who mentor and tutor the students once, sometimes twice a week, and then meet with our participants outside of the classroom setting, academic setting, for just a chat or coffee sometimes, twice per month. So I think that's a big step in retention and in motivation, and I think that's unique to our program.
Okay, how many Native students are currently at UCSB?
Yeah, the numbers are alarming. I know that according to our stats at UCSB, in relation to total enrollment, it's less than 1%. So we definitely want to work to get students coming, applying, and not only applying but enrolling once they are accepted into UC Santa Barbara.
Can you describe what the criteria is for potential students?
Definitely. So there are a lot of, I think, myths about what and misconceptions about what it is to be eligible for UC, especially UCSB. The first is students need to take the A through G required courses with a C or better. you might see on the website, on UCSB's website, the average GPA was 3.9 for this year. Yeah, that was the average GPA. But if you're not quite, at that level, you can still get accepted with a lower GPA. But just making sure that you're a well-rounded student. So that means participating in sports, in community service, in culture, or at home. At home, taking care of siblings, that can count towards community service. So.
Okay. So out of the UC system, why would a native student want to go to UCSB?
Yeah. I think the opportunities for research and for quality education, that's the first. I think that in the past, and it's still a current issue, many students aren't finding UCSB a welcoming place in terms of community, in terms of retention numbers are alarming, just as they are across the nation.
Okay.
So just making sure that UCSB continues community building. I think like some of the programs that ACE offers, we can really increase those numbers.
Okay. And you've mentioned retention a couple times. What are some of the challenges that Native students face in not only enrolling at UCSB, but being at UCSB, staying involved and staying enrolled?
Yeah. Well, there are many factors. Some that I can touch on are, UCSB, for example, is predominantly white, mostly white campus. So one of the issues that a lot of students face are just not seeing themselves in the campus, just not having the networks to connect, and that you can call it culture shock. I think that plays a part in the decision that many make to go back home to not really feeling supported at the campus. So there are programs, my program, and also the Educational Opportunity Program, put on events to build that sense of community for students, because that's a big part. That has a big positive impact in retention.
And what would you say is the UCSB faculty and staff, are they, for lack of a better word, are they embracing Native students, or is there, as you said, it's predominantly white? So does UCSB have, are they embracing of Native students, if you understand what I'm saying?
There are, there's always room for improvement in anything. One thing that my program is established is a program called Anchor, and it stands for Advancing Native Culture and Heritage Through Outreach and Retention. It's a long acronym. But Anchor, it basically is a series of monthly events that we invite the community, students and families to come, and each event, each month, a different academic discipline or major is featured, and students can learn about that and different opportunities on campus. We then have a meal, lunch or dinner, and then we usually finish it off with a sporting event, soccer or basketball game, something like that. And the main goal is to build that sense of community and to connect the professors with the students that are on campus and prospective students also. And so I invite the whole community to come out and participate.
Okay. You mentioned culture shock. Can you go into a little bit more detail about what culture shock that a Native student would have in going to UCSB?
Well, in terms of students who come from out of state or maybe come from a reservation, it might be, for example, just not seeing intercommunication is different. Like I said, it's predominantly white. Just the ways are different, and that kind of discomfort may affect the decision to stay in that environment. So, like I said, the Educational Opportunity Program, or EOP, they really try to create not really a safe haven, but an area where students can feel safe and connect with one another so that they feel supported.
And you went to UCSB, correct?
Yes.
What was your experience going to UCSB like?
It was challenging. First off, the material is hard.
Mm-hmm.
The classes are not easy, um, but I was able to connect through EOP with other students like me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't really connect with many of the students out there. I was involved, but being involved with work, being involved with basketball, also that was a big it had a big positive impact on me. So I'd encourage students to do the same. Be involved in different things. Don't just have school as number one. Well, school is number one, but don't have it as your only priority. Other things have to come into play also.
Yes, I agree. Now, I know that at UCSB there's an American Indian Student Association. Do they work with you in recruiting Native students, potential Native students?
Well, they support us by coming to our anchor events. We have a few students who came to our event in October, and that's big both ways. So the younger students can see Native students on campus succeeding in college at UCSB, and for the students who are in ASA, the Student Association, they can feel that sense of community. They might have come from out of state, they might have come from out of town, and they might not know what the community's like.
Right.
They're kind of isolated out on that UCSB island sometimes, where they might not know members of the community. They might have heard of the Chumash tribe, the local tribe, but haven't really met members of the community, and that's why we want to open the doors to the community to come get that bi-directional exchange going on.
I see. Actually, we haven't even touched on how this program got started. How did this program get started?
Yeah, so back in, I think it was 2005, it started originally with Joe Castro in the Office of, which is now the Office of Education Partnerships, and Dr. Fred Love, he's at the San Ynez Band of Chumash Indians Education Department. He was the previous director. And it started with conversations about how to get the numbers increased for students,
Right.
American Indian students, local Chumash students into UCSB. And from there, it's just gone on and developed into what it is now, mentorship program, academic, the anchor program that I mentioned, and also this summer, a summer program.
Okay. So do you have an upcoming, I think you'd mentioned you have an upcoming event.
Yes. It will be Saturday, September. It will be Saturday, February 25th, from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Basically, it's an anchor event. It's one of the monthly events that will feature this time solar power technology. So students in grades 7 through 12 will be able to come out to UCSB and learn more about solar power technology, and also build their own solar powered car. So after the workshop, which will take about an hour and a half, we'll have lunch, hopefully some California Pizza Kitchen, and then go on to the UCSB basketball game after. So it's a full day event. Encourage the community, and anyone with cultural knowledge or expertise, storytelling, come out, share your stories, connect with young students, and show them that you support them.
So did you come up with the idea for the solar-powered car?
No. This was with the Materials Research Laboratory. It's an outreach program that they provide to get students excited about science in a different way, science and research. A lot of times you hear about research and you might think about going to the library for 8 hours and sticking your head in a book for 8 hours, but research can be out there in the field. Like in October, our anchor event was around anthropology, and the UCSB students who presented, they talked about how they collected artifacts and samples out on the islands, taking boat trips out there. So research we really want to deconstruct the myths